The Nether is a place of fire and brimstone, danger and darkness. But how did this world come to be? The story begins with Herobrine, one of the great creators of Minecraftia.
Will fate decide who has to go?
But Herobrine was not content with his place in the world. He felt forgotten and ignored by those who had once worshipped him as a god.
Leave that up to you.
I have been forgotten and cast aside as if I am nothing. However, I am determined to prove my worth and showcase my capabilities by creating a world that will instill fear in those who underestimate me.
Herobrine set to work, using his dark powers to create a new world. He poured all of his anger and frustration into this new world, infusing it with his own dark energy.
Now I know.
The Nether was a world unlike any other, unforgiving and full of strange, terrifying creatures. But for Herobrine, it was a place of triumph. He had created something truly special, a world that would make everyone remember why he was to be feared. But Herobrine's creation had unintended consequences. The Nether drew in all manner of creatures, including the piglins. The piglins were once ordinary pigs, but they had been transformed by the dark magic of the Nether. They evolved into a fierce and intelligent race, obsessed with gold and the power it represented.
I hope to be forgiven for my sins. After all, we were two monsters dancing.
The piglins were not to be trifled with. They were fiercely territorial and fiercely protective of their gold. Herobrine watched from the shadows as the piglins survived in this unforgiving realm, as they fought against the terrifying creatures he had created. As time passed, Herobrine began to realize the true cost of his creation. The Nether was a place where not even he was safe.
I may have learned a lesson, though not what he intended. I shall wield my powers for personal gain, plunging the world into turmoil and inflicting suffering upon all. I will construct a realm of terror and devastation, causing them to tremble in fear.
The piglins eventually conquered the Nether and built grand structures that guarded their mountains of gold. They saw the potential in the builders who had entered their world, and they were willing to trade for valuable resources.
After all, we were two monsters dancing to the day.
Herobrine returned to the overworld, consumed by bitterness. He had understood that his anger and frustration held the potential for immense destruction and chaos, and he relished this realization. Determined, Herobrine set his plan into motion, distorting and corrupting the very essence of reality with his abilities. He crafted a new realm cloaked in darkness and hopelessness, where nightmares manifested, and any semblance of hope was extinguished.
Path along, they will never see the likes of us again, though we may have saved a life or two.
The Nether retained its hazardous and foreboding nature, serving as a testament to the potency of anger and fear, and a dire warning of the impending devastation to be unleashed.
Hope to be forgiven for our sins. After all, we were two monsters dancing.
bring the water.